Hey guys, Nay here, and today I am doing a little bit of a DIY embellishment video for you, and I just wanted to show you what we'll be making. These fringe hearts had been huge. They were huge. They came through in the Maggie Holmes Bloom, was it? Gosh, I can't remember what collection it came in, but they were hearts that had the fringing on them and they were super cute. And so I've decided to make my own, and I'll add these in my HAPPYMAIL letters, and I'm going to show you the joys of these. These are fringing scissors. I got the Martha Stewart fringing scissors. I think I got them from mightyape.com.au maybe. And they came super quick, super easy to deal with. And I love these so much. So I've got a few examples of what I'm going to show you how to make. So I've got a tag that I've done, and I've also got a heart. You can also just cut fringes for your layouts. You can, one of the things that's really in at the moment is the We Are Memory Keepers tissue paper fringing. So I'm going to do some of that on some of my Felicity Jane paper, tissue paper that came with my kit. And also fringed tassels, paper tassels. So I'm going to show you how to make those as well. And what I thought I would do is I'm going to work with my leftover bits and pieces from my Felicity Jane Next Stop kit. I am really surprised how little I have left over in the forms of paper. It's really just a few pieces of paper, and I think I want to save this so I can cut out these florals still and save that. So it's probably not going to get used. Or if it is, it's going to be a small piece here, but I love those florals so much. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to cut up that piece of paper. It's so sad because on the back is this lovely stripe. Lovely, lovely. And that would look really good. But we're going to stick with these colors at the moment. And I'm going to show you first how to make a heart, and then we're going to go up to the tags, and we'll just keep going like that. So basically what you need to make these, a little bit of gold is also good. You have to have the gold, right? So what I really did was I just cut 1.5 inch strips. Now that gives you enough thickness to layer and also trim the fringing if you need to. So I'm just going to show you a few bits and pieces here, and then I'm going to fringe a few pieces, and then we're going to stop the video and I'm going to go straight to the actual making. Okay, so that only took me like an entire day to get done. I sat here and was filming, cutting the pieces of paper, and then my camera switched off, and that was it. I had to go and recharge my battery. So it took a whole day for me to get back here and get to filming the rest of this video. I think it's been 2 days actually, because yesterday I worked. Yeah, it's been 2 days. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys. Okay, so we have all of our strips done. I just wanted to add a little side note to the gold glitter paper when you're cutting it. You need to not, in most of my paper you'll see I was cutting with just the tips of the scissors. You actually need to go right up into the neck of the scissors and cut that way. It just seems to grab onto the glitter paper a lot easier, and yeah, it just works better. So we have all of our strips here, and I'm going to put them into colors basically. Some light blues up in here and some tealy blues. Okay, so as you can see, just by grouping those together, I've already come to some color combinations. So I'm going to work on my pink one first. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Absolutely easy. I'm going to use my tape runner simply because it's easier than what I was doing when I made my original ones. I was using double-sided tape and you had to keep peeling things off. This time all you got to do is just run some glue across there. And what I tend to do is start with the lightest colour on the bottom. So I'm going to pop that one on there, and I overlap on both sides, and then we add some glue, and I think I've just run out of my tape runner. Awesome! And then we're going to add the next colour, so we're going to add in this pink here, and then we're going to add another strip and add in the darker pink, and then one more strip. I'm going to cover the entire part, and I'm going to add this red in on top. Okay, so now you can see the heart is completely covered, and all I'm going to do now is cut the excess off. So then you have all of these still left to play with for another one. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around, well, I'm going to fussy cut around the heart, even though it's already been cut, but they're all just cut off all of the excess. There have been so many tutorials for these on YouTube already, but I just felt, you know, I started off with those DIY tassels. I'm going to be making some of these hearts, and I have a few little more bits and pieces that I'm going to do with my fringing scissors. So, okay, so there's our heart. Look at that. And then you just want to clean up any sharp edges, just make them nice and round. Isn't that pretty? You don't see a lot of this pink down the bottom. It depends on the layers that you put in. But yeah, it really is sort of a surprise until you cut it all apart. And what you can do with this now is what I usually do is I run it across the sewing machine and then I add an embellishment. So I do have some leftover bits and pieces from the Next Stop kit. So you could add a wood veneer if you wanted to, right across the top like that, if you wanted to, that's your thing. Or you could add a tiny word sticker in there, or I think this flare is going to be too big. Yeah, way too big. But if you had a leftover flare from last month, look, you could put a little mini flare from the kit. I think I have I'm sure I have a flare left. Nope, I used them all. Wow. You could put a wood veneer in there, that would be cute. You could even put a label if you wanted to make it a journaling heart. That's really cute. So the possibilities are endless. You can add anything you like to them. You don't even have to add anything at all. You could just simply, oh, I know what I forgot. Oopsies. Usually I put gold on every single one because it just lifts. I'm going to leave it like that without the red on it because I just tried to put it back on and it didn't work. So I'm going to leave that one fully gold and just the pink underneath. So that's something different for me. I haven't done that before. And then we're going to go in and just, let's do a black and white one. So that is the hearts, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a tag. So this is basically the same concept again, very simple. We're just layering up. I'm going to start with the smallest pattern on the bottom and work up from there. When it comes to actually layering the top part, you need something quite thick to sort of end off the tag. So that is the tag that I have, and now we're just going to cut it like we did the hearts. And then what you can do is you can ruffle up a few of your layers just to give it a bit of dimension. So what I usually do is I ruffle them up and then I press it down. So it still has that flat look, but it gives you a bit of dimension in there. So that's one tag done, and then we'll go in and do another one. And then the last thing you want to do, that I don't have on me right now, of course, because, you know, Hey Nay Dailies are, you know, her videos are just so super prepared and organised, is you just want to get a hole punch and punch the hole there. So I'm going to go and find that now. I couldn't quite find my hole punch. I don't know where it is, but I do have my crocodile here. And then I have these awesome, you saw them in a haul video just recently, the Heidi Swap hole reinforcers for the memory planner. And all I'm going to do is take these suckers out. There you go. So we put it on top there, just to give it a little bit more bling bling. I mean, the hole is probably just that little bit too small for the hole enforcers, but I don't care. It still looks cute and you get the idea. So that's those. And what I would do with those is do a bit of a stitch across here and we'll be good to go. Okay, so now you have your tags embellished. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick down on the back of these with some tape. And I'm just going to use 3M magic tape, just the clear stuff, just because the option is up to you. You could either use the clear tape and stick it on like I'm doing and just leave it messy on the back, or you could cut another tag shape and pop that on the back. The possibilities are endless. I think what I might do actually is just to clean it up, because it's just not doing it for me like that. So what I'm going to do is pick out some paper. I might use, oh no, the polka dot I won't have any of. What have I got left in my Felicity Jane papers? Could I possibly use that for the back? That's what we're going to do. Okay, so especially for the tags where you're probably going to be sending it to someone, giving it as more of a gift tag as opposed to an embellishment, that is when I would put a backing paper on. The hearts you're most likely going to be using on layout, so it doesn't really matter what is on the back really. There. And I'm going to add another hole reinforcer just to shine up that back a little bit. So then on the back, that's where I would be doing a lot of my, you know, if it's going to be a mail tag, you can do a little bit of journaling on the back, decorate it, anything like that. On the front here, I'm going to use some bits and pieces. I could put a tassel on there if I wanted to, make it really dimensional. I could add in a heart. Even that's quite big. I could possibly put that on the back there. That would be cute. So we still might do that. The ice cream cone is super cute. That could go on there. That's really cute. What else can we do? What else can we do? I'm running out of embellishments. Oh, the flamingo is cute. We could put Mr. Flamingo on there, couldn't we? He is super cool. Do you want to put him on there? Let's do that. I just realized how zoomed out you guys were. I'm so sorry. Now we're back in and we're going to be adding in a few bits and pieces just to bling this up a bit and give it that Hey Nay Daily flair. I will probably use some of my beautiful Felicity Jane Happy Day sequins. Let's face it, there are so many of them. I'm never going to get through them all. So the last step for this is I'm going to grab some twine, and this is just some twine I got in a Hey Nay Daily Happy Mail. So I'm just going to cut a length of that. I really love gold twine. It is just divine. And look at that. One tag done. There you go. 2 beautiful layered fringed tags, and they have a beautiful back for you to do some journaling on and do your mail tags on there, and they are just super cute. So we have our tags done. Now we're going to go into the hearts, if I can find where I put them. Here they are. So these hearts I ended up making into a bit of a banner without realizing. I started sewing them all together, so we're going to cut them off individually, but a cute idea would be to make a banner like this. That would be really cute. Really, really, really cute. Okie dokie. And then we're going to add some simple embellishments. Right. But you can put things like hi, hello. I usually do things up in the top left hand corner. I find that's the the best place to put things. Pop that one on there, and we're going to put a label on this one. Have it coming off to the side a bit. There it is, found my cassette. So I'm going to put that probably on the back here, I think, of that label. Let's add a few stars to... Okay, there's another one done. I'll just be boring and leave it plain. How about that? That's a good idea. Back in there. Okie dokie. So that's that. So they are my tags and love hearts that are fringed. And, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to them. Look at this diagonal on the sewing machine. It's horrible. But I don't care. It's, you know, handmade embellishments are awesome. I absolutely love them. Now, I have one more surprise for you. I'm going to make another thing with my fringing scissors. So let's pop those to the side there. As I'm going to cut a 12 by 12 strip, but I'm going to cut it at 2.5 inches. There you go. What I'm going to do next is cut myself a little bit more of this twine. Nope, I'm going to need some washi tape. So I've got some gold glitter washi tape right here that I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do is, with this 2.5 inch sheet of paper, what I'm going to do is basically cut with my fringing scissors all the way to the top. I'm going to leave about 1 centimetre at the top. Okay, so now we have our tassel, and I'm going to do it on this lovely pink side here, just because I love pink. You could do it on the blue side if you wanted to. But what I'm going to do is flip it over to the side that you don't want showing. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the top here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my twine in half, and I'm going to glue it to the middle there. And just sit it down. And then all we're going to do is add adhesive the whole way along, and then we're just going to fold it over on itself, and we're just going to roll it. Add a little bit more adhesive here because obviously I didn't get that far. I didn't go all the way to the edge. Stick that down there, and look, you have a tassel. A paper tassel. How cool is that? Now these are beautiful for HAPPYMAIL. They're absolutely divine. All we're going to do is cut off a strip of this washi tape, make sure it goes the whole way around, and we're just going to glue it on there like that. And I find the gold is the most appealing to me. So that is that there. So this is one I made earlier with this was a crepe paper. And I used another type of washi tape, but it just didn't want to stick very well. It's stuck now, and I forgot to put the loop in the top, so this is just my trial tassel. But these are so easy to make. I mean, you could... Let's just make a blue one now, just for the sake of making... Okay, so just finishing that off there. Look at that one. Look at the colours. The double-sided cardstock for this is just absolutely perfect. It is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a piece of my ever-dying gold washi. Okay, look at that. That is one hell of a tassel. So there we go, guys. I've got some tassels, I've got some hearts, and we've got some mail tags. Perfect for HAPPYMAIL, perfect for anything really, but it's a great way to use up your stash. It's a great way to use up those little bits and pieces of scraps you have left over. Even finishing off a kit like I have basically done, using up more of that paper that you necessarily weren't going to use on a layout, wanted to use somehow. You don't want it to go to waste. You don't want to be just, you know, wasting your scraps. So this is like the perfect solution. Make some tassels, make some fringed hearts, make some fringes, and get those fringing scissors out and start using them, because they are amazing and I love them. And honestly, mine have paid for themselves already just by making this here. This is just, it's so beautiful, and I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I would love to see what you make. So if you are following any of my tutorials and making your own, please leave me a comment down below with a link to your blog or the post that you have making some of this gorgeousness, and I will definitely check it out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you all. Bye bye.